Hi, this is Rhonda. Welcome back. And today I'm going to go ahead and make sugar cookies for the holidays. And the first thing I'm going to do is make the dough, and then I will refrigerate the dough for a little bit, and then I will make the cookies. So let's get started. And the first ingredient I need is 11 tablespoons of butter, but I am going to go ahead and double that, so I need 22 tablespoons of butter. Now, some of these old recipes, it seems a little odd on the measurements, but that's just the way the recipe is. So, all right. So that is a lot of butter, 22, because I am doubling it. So what I'm going to do is on the butter, it shows you how many tablespoons. So that's helpful. So 1 stick is 8, and 2 sticks of butter. So 8 plus 8 is 16. And then I'm going to count the butter, 16. Let's see if you can see it. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that is 2 sticks plus 6 tablespoons. So 2 sticks, which is 16 tablespoons, 16 plus the 6, and that is the 22. Like that. Set this aside, I don't need that one. And then I'm going to start putting my butter into here. Scoot everything over so you can see. And what you want to do is leave your butter out for a little while so it can soften up. My house is pretty cold right now, so I had to go ahead and let it sit on the counter for a little bit. Okay, and now I need to go wash. So it's time to add the sugar. And if I was making a single batch, that would be 3/4 cup sugar. But I'm going to double this recipe, so I need 1.5 cups of sugar. And when measuring sugar, you want to level it off. I use a butter knife, the back of a butter knife, and level this off. So that's 1 cup. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good camera angle here. Okay, and then 1/2 cup. So that's 1.5, and then I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so now it's time to add the eggs. So for a single batch, it would be 1 egg. So for a double batch, it's 2 eggs. I'm going to move my little garbage thing over here. So 1, 2. And yes, I know I have a brown egg and a white egg, and it doesn't really make a difference. I prefer the brown eggs because they have a better flavor, but I eat the white eggs also. So I'm going to go wash my hands with soap and water because I was just handling raw egg. Okay, so for a single batch, I would use 1 teaspoon. So for a double batch, I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1, 2. I always add my extracts into my eggs. I've just always done it that way. That way I can kind of pre-mix it a little bit. And then milk is the next ingredient. And a single batch is 4 teaspoons of milk. And I'm doubling it, so it's 8 teaspoons of milk. So I have a nice measure for when you're going to do a whole bunch, so I don't have to keep on. If you don't have this, you can just, count it out 8 times. So I have to look where my teaspoons are, and I am going to go ahead. This is 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to fill the milk up to here. 8 teaspoons of milk. I just need to verify, yes, it's the teaspoons and not the tablespoons measure. And measuring liquid ingredients, you have to get level with the measuring cup and look here, and then it's kind of difficult. because this milk is full. If the milk wasn't full, it wouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna, did I get 8? Just a tad more. Okay, so now I got 8. And I'm going to add my milk to my eggs. And I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to kind of pre-mix this up a little bit. The eggs and the milk really blend. Okay, so now the next part is the dry ingredients. So a single recipe calls for 2 cups of flour, so I'm going to do 4. Move this over here so everybody can see. Move this back. Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay. So 4 cups of flour. When measuring flour, you need to level it off with a knife or a spatula or whatever you have that's flat like that. And that's 1. I'm gonna move this because something's not right with the angle, I feel like. There. Now I think you can see better. Okay, so we got 1. 2. 3. 4. So that's it for the flour, but I'm not going to put my flour away completely. I'm going to leave it out for later because I'm going to need to flour the cutting board when I roll out the dough later. So I'm not going too far with my flour. Okay, so now the next thing is a 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder for a single recipe. So I need 1.5 teaspoons plus 1.5 teaspoons is 3 teaspoons, and there is in a tablespoon there's 3 teaspoons, and I did look this up on the internet and confirmed it. And I'm rewriting all my recipes with a double on the other side. So on the left hand side I have the single batch, and then on the double batch I have it on the right hand side of my paper, because it's just, I'm always doubling it. So that's what I'm doing. So 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Now a lot of cookies call for baking soda, so make sure you're not supposed to substitute them because it's not going to come out the same, and then you'll be disappointed. So make sure that it's actually baking powder. Baking powder. Okay, so we need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. So you have to level off the baking powder. I always use the lid. You have to make sure it's that. Put that in with the flour. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 and 1/4 is 1/2. So I have to use 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, I don't like my stuff really salty, so you need a little bit of salt to make this baking powder work effectively. So, but I'm not going to do the full amount. So I'm just going to do a little bit less than 1/2 teaspoon when I measure. And I'm measuring it out over here because I don't want to accidentally spill a bunch of salt in there, because that wouldn't be good. So I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to, so that's all my dry stuff. So now I'm going to stir this up with a fork. And then I'm going to go over to the mixer and we're going to start mixing stuff. So now I'm going to mix everything up, and I just want to go over something, and if you've watched my videos before you've already heard this, so just bear with me. Okay, so I have 3 options. So there's this option, which I do not want to use on cookie dough. This is a whisk, good for egg whites and any other type of very light mixture that you're doing. And then I have this type of hook, which is great for cakes and things like that, brownies, those sort of things, frosting even. And then I have a dough hook. And so the dough hook is what you want to use for bread and cookies and anything else that would fit into that type of category. So I'm going to start mixing this up. Put on my splash guard because otherwise I'm going to have stuff flying. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creaming the butter. I'm creaming the butter and the sugar together. I'm laughing at myself because I usually don't use the mixer from this angle when I'm doing this on my own. So, but for filming purposes, it works out better. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start mixing this up. Okay, so now I'm going to check it, and I'm going to have to go ahead and scrape the sides. Now, the longer you leave the butter on the counter to soften, the shorter period of time it'll take you to cream the butter and the sugar. Like I said earlier, I didn't like bring it out right away, so it's a little bit on the cold side. And then also, not to mention it's cold in the house, so. We'll take a look. When making any type of cookie, it's extremely important to mix everything very well. Okay, so I'm going to take a scoop of this so you can kind of see what it looks like. So that's the butter and the sugar creamed together. And then the next step is to add the egg mixture, which had the eggs, the vanilla, and the milk in it. So that can just all go in together. I'm going to turn the mixer back on and get this mixed up. Okay, so you have to scrape your sides with your, if you don't already own a rubber spatula, it's a good idea to get one if you're going to be doing a lot of baking, because it's really good for scraping the sides of the bowl. Some of the heavy duty ones you can even mix stuff with. This particular one almost has like a scoopable side. It's a little bit different than the one I've used before in some of the other videos. I like this one because you'll see why in a little bit with the flour. I just have a lot of different styles, so I'll just grab whatever's handy a lot of the times. Okay, so now I'm ready to add the flour. So I'm just going to turn it on a very slow mixture, and I'm just going to add a little bit of time. Like I said, with this particular rubber spatula, instead of using like a scooper or my measuring cups, I could just scoop it using this. So just going to start it on slow. As it blends in, I'm going to slowly add some more. In between adding the flour. You never want to add the flour while it's going really fast, or it'll, even with a splash guard, come out. Okay, so now I'm going to scrape the sides and check the bottom to make sure that everything's mixed down there. Scrape the sides. I'm just trying to peek. See, under the beater. Okay, there's nothing stuck under the beater. That's good. So, we'll mix it some more. Okay, so let's see how it looks. It's looking very good. I'm going to get it off of here, scrape off the beater. Don't be scared to get your hands dirty. Okay, so now we have our dough done. And the thing about sugar cookies that you're going to roll out with the rolling pin and everything, the key to it is you don't want, I have in the past at this point made the cookies. It's not as easy to roll out the dough. The recommendation is to have the dough in the refrigerator for at least an hour. So that's what I'm going to do because it's a lot easier to roll out the dough that way. If I'm in a pinch and I have to do it quickly, I have done it this way without refrigerating. Now the good thing, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put it in some plastic wrap in the fridge. And this amount, which is doubled, I'm going to want to do 4 balls of dough. If I did a single batch, then two balls of dough would be fine. So you take this, you make it into a ball like this, about this size, because this is a good manageable size on the cutting board later. So that's why I'm making it into that. And then I'm just going to wrap this up. Now, see, the thing I do like a lot about sugar cookies, if I want to, and I only had time just to make the dough, I could save rolling out the cookies and cutting them and doing all that till tomorrow. Which, if I have time, I'm going to make these cookies later today. If I don't have time, I will make them tomorrow because they will be in the dough will be in the refrigerator. So that's kind of cool that you can do it in 2 steps, especially for those of you that work full time and stuff. It's hard to have time to do everything in 1 step. So that's kind of nice that it can be a 2-step cookie. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 2 more balls. I hope everybody's having a great day. Okay, so this goes pretty fast. You have to scrape the bowl though with your rubber spatula if you have one. Hopefully you have one. If not, you'll use a metal spoon, which will work. I'm going to get another bunch out.
Why do I hear screaming monkeys?
My son just came in. He was talking to my granddaughter. And so if you heard something in the background, that's what that was. And there's my phone. So there's chaos in the kitchen. Okay. So sorry for the interruption. The phone, everything always goes on all at one time around here. So we're almost done with this step. So okay. So I got one more ball of dough to do. I'm trying to get this all out of here. So the last one's the one that's going to be a little bit of a pain because you really have to scrape the bowl Okay. So, another ball. Okay. All right, so now my hands are all messy. I'm gonna go wash my hands up. Okay, so I'm gonna put the cookie dough in the refrigerator and I'm gonna give it about an hour. In the meantime, I'm gonna get my kitchen clean, so that's nice. And if I don't get to it tonight, I can always make these cookies in the morning. So that's the good thing about the sugar cookie recipe. All right, thank you for watching, and I will be back soon to actually roll out and bake the cookies.